me. I said no.
Hello everyone, it has been a while. I'd like to formally introduce myself. I go by Suchi, and I'm a veteran Nuxia player. I have mained Nuxia since Marching Fire's release. I thought it would be best to reintroduce myself since my voice is being involved in a broader discussion related video for the first time. And I want to talk about the Nuxia traps in the past testing grounds and what I think about it. I want to make it clear that, like all content creators, we are just like you. We are part of the player base, and my opinion isn't any more important because of that. This is simply my opinion as a Nuxia player, not just as a content creator. I think the player base and the content creators are in way over their heads over minding Nuxia's traps changes. I knew once Nuxia got settled changes, everyone that isn't as familiar with the character was going to go batshit crazy, calling her A tier right off the bat. I've seen the tier lists, they don't know what they're doing. The traps are a minor change, but do they function better? Yes, in a way. It is negligible at best. They're just a smidge better. It hardly makes a difference because she can still eat raw heavies and interrupted with lights. I personally don't think traps need to be unreactable, as so many people are claiming they should be. I think they need to be more accurate. Before the CCU, also known as the Core Combat Update, everything in the game was read and reaction based. Not to say it isn't now, but the traps still haven't adapted to the current state and meta in the game. The game's current focus is pure offense in the current state that it is. And traps had more functionality, but they weren't the greatest back then either. I may have come up with a glamorous way to make traps function with more accuracy and more fluidity, without exactly breaking them. Here's what I think, so hear me out. Have it catch the indicator for a certain duration. I feel it needs to not just depend on the guard, so to say. It should connect with the indicator that is the same direction as the trap being flown without being interrupted. And when the red flash indicator is shown, that is when Nuxia should be punished. Traps are a tactical use and should be used as an opener. I also think that we should decrease the damage output for the traps from 22 to 18, because we don't want a high damage opener. Nobody wants that. It's crazy. Nuxia doesn't exactly have anything going for her in terms of having an unblockable, a neutral bash, or an undodgeable. But who really wants copy and paste of almost every other character in the game, right? That is besides her deflect, which was cut down to only 20 damage, and only being dependent to acting as a normal damaging deflect with their first feat, which is Deadly Duet, or her third feat, Slip Through, when it is active. It only bumps it up to 24, but that's the reasonable deflect damage output. I personally think the deflect should interrupt hyper armor. And last but not least, we should add dodge cancels on whiff traps. And boom, I think that would make traps fixed. Now, in addition, that would make her more viable in team fights. I think what would help her would be to change her light animations that involve her hook blades slashing on sides instead of just using her edges for just pokes. I think it would be a reasonable change even if her light opener only had that animation, because it is still 500 ms. I think people don't know that her light opener is 500 ms, same as almost every other character. Yormez had this change on his lights and they function a lot better. The chain lights are 400 ms and can remain as the poke animations. I don't personally see an undodgeable heavy finisher being needed, considering the dodge changes have helped Nuxia in this season tremendously. All dodge attacks besides Tiyandi, Warmonger, and Zhang Jun have delayable inputs. Pretty much almost everything in Nuxia's kit is delayable at this point, but dodge range has been decreased on the characters with it unless they delay input their dodge attacks. This makes Nuxia's heavy finisher more usable now, because when you delay the heavy finisher, it more than likely always catches these characters mid-dodge every time, and plus they have no guard. And finally, the deflect. Like I mentioned earlier, I think it should interrupt hyper armor. It just needs a tiny damage buff, only being 20 damage. Just bump it up to 24. Plain and simple. So when Deadly Duet is active, or Slip Through, it wouldn't be too overpowered for it, because it would only bump it up to 28. Now I'm thinking if she's dealing with a hyper armor opponent, say the deflect interrupts it, they could punish them for the 28 damage. I think that would help her in that case. Now, these are just trap ideas and a little bit of other things I would believe that would improve her in the current meta without exactly breaking her. Just let me know in the comments what you think that would improve her viability, you know, in terms of traps, things like that, or deflect, whichever. Just let you guys know, I stream on Twitch and would love to have you guys come by and say hello. And the link will be in the description below. I will catch you guys later, alright? You guys stay safe out there.